Yes, thank you so much, Mr.
And
Deepak.
before I end, one more thing. Now, uh, uh, the company which has bought you here, the Purple Friend, is now a member of Next Gen Estate Planning, where we will be giving these services through them. So we can help you do your will, your letter of guardianship, your financial durable part only, or your living will through the company. So if you have any problem, you want to do that, please contact and they will help you do that. Yes, sir. Questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Deepak. I think that was a good marathon session. And of course, we will put up all the questions that have been asked. And then there are some people who were having connectivity issues, so they were on and off. And just at a cost of repetition, we may ask something which has already been spoken and clearly established by you. So one of the questions that came was, many of them may know the answer, but for the member who asked, can you explain a little bit more about the IPR aspect as a part of my asset?
So IPR, anything which can be converted into money is an asset. And even your IPRs, your royalty, your patents, etc., can be passed on to the next generation through a will. Right? So it's part of your estate and it can be given away as part of your will.
Okay. Then one of the questions which we have received is, what is a probate?
So probate is post-death certification of the will by a court. So after your death, your will needs to be certified by the court, saying that it is a genuine will, and it now they give the power to the executor of the will to execute it, to implement it. Probate is compulsory in 3 cities in India: Mumbai, Chennai, and Calcutta. If you have properties in these 3 cities or you live in these 3 cities, probate is compulsory for your will, because these were 3 presidency towns at the time of Britishers, and Britishers made a law where probate is compulsory in these 3 cities. So if you are living in these 3 cities, probate is compulsory. Probate is both time consuming and little costly, and we all should plan our wealth in a way that probate is not required, is directly transferred to our children without this hassle of going through a probate.
Okay, so fantastic. So we have something called as a master court in Chennai, where usually the probate takes place.
Right.
Okay, so another very important question. I think a lot of people have this challenge. I'm the father of a special child. How should I plan for my son's future?
So, sir, if you are a father or a parent of a special child, one of the biggest concern parents have is what would happen to the financial and physical well-being of my child post both the parents, right? So we advise you to create 2 types of structures before you go. One is called the Special Child Protection Trust. This trust takes care of the financial needs of the child, right? So if you create a Special Child Protection Trust, we will make you as parents as the original trustees of the trust while you are alive, and any asset which is transferred to this trust can only be used for the betterment of the special child, and there is no other use allowed for that money. After both of you have passed away, you appoint somebody whom you trust to be the successor trustees of the trust, and they will be bound by the trust deed to use this money for the betterment of the child. The second document which we always ask parents with special children is something which is called letter of wishes or letter of intent. What is this document? See, the information about your special child also passes away after you. It is lost. So if you can create a document specifying that these are the likes and dislikes of my child, these are the things which my child is able to do himself, for these things he requires assistance or she requires assistance, that manual, that user manual kind of thing becomes a very good document for the next guardian after you. It's very important that you create that letter of intent and the Special Child Protection Trust. While I am on Special Child Protection Trust, there is one learning which I have, which I will be sharing with parents who have special children. In the trust or will which you create and where you give a part of your wealth to your special child, do not mention that after the death of my special child, the remaining goes to the siblings. If you do so, you are creating problems for your special child, because the other siblings think that whatever they are spending on the special child is coming from their money, right? So you be wary of doing that. You be wary of doing that. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So next question is a very simple question. How do we get a probate?
So you approach a court, the executor approaches a court, or a beneficiary approaches the court and asks the court to verify the will. And court call all legal heirs, all people who are connected to the will, sees whether it's done properly. Does somebody have an objection? If there is an objection, is it sustainable? Is it not? And after that, they give something which is called a letter of administration to the executor. Now the executor of the will has the power to implement it without being interfered by anybody else.
Okay, fantastic. Will or trust, which one is recommended as a estate planning?
I can't hear you. There's some voice breaking. Can you just repeat that question?
Okay, so I'm repeating. Yes, I'm repeating the question. Between will or trust, which one is recommended for estate planning?
It depends on the purpose you have for your estate. If the purpose is just passing it to the next generation without protection of the next generation, a will is more than enough. But if the purpose is that post giving it, or while you own it, it is protected also, you have some control of the property while you are alive and after you are dead, then maybe your trust is a better option. So it depends on the purpose. If purpose is that, then maybe a trust is better.
Okay. The next question is, can the will include assets in foreign country?
Yes, sir. You can will anything you own, but when it is about assets in foreign countries, you need to first tell us whether those assets in foreign countries are movable assets or immovable assets. If they are movable assets, an Indian will can control them, because law of India is applicable on movable assets if you are a domicile of India. But if it is an immovable asset, we would always recommend that you create a separate will in the country where you own that residence, because now the law of that country is applicable on the asset which is immovable.
Okay, next is a very interesting question. Can the beneficiary of the will be the executor of the will?
Yes, a beneficiary can be an executor, but a beneficiary cannot be a witness to a will. A beneficiary can be the executor, but cannot be a witness to a will. If you create a executor, a beneficiary and executor, just think about conflict of interest. If there is a potential conflict of interest, because this person becomes the most powerful person after your death. He is basically your post-death manager of the will, post-death implementer of the will, right? So be wary of doing it, but if you have somebody whom you can trust, who will be impartial, or who is the only surviving here, then it's okay. Legally, nothing stops there.
Okay, fantastic. What if the name of the nominee in the policy is different from the will?
That's an interesting question, sir.
Because policies will accept only spouse or a child.
No, sir.
What if the
so in 2015, there was an amendment done in the Insurance Act, which said that if the nominee in a life insurance policy is the parent, spouse, or child, or either of them, and the policy claim or mature claim occurs after 2015, then this person would be called as beneficial nominee. And beneficial nominee becomes owner of the fund, not the distributor of the fund. So you bought a life insurance policy when you were 21. At that time, you were not married. You made your mother as the nominee, and the policy is continuing like this. After your death, your mother becomes the sole owner of that policy. Other legal heirs cannot demand any money from her. Right? So nomination in insurance policy has become very, very powerful. Apart from insurance, the other product where nominee becomes owner is the Public Provident Fund account, PPF account. There also the nominee becomes the owner. But the difference is, in a life insurance policy, if there is a difference of nominee and the legal heir mentioned in the will, still the nominee becomes the owner, will cannot overrule it. But in a PPF, will can overrule it. So in a life insurance policy, if your mother is the nominee and you die and in your will you say it goes to my wife gets nothing. All of it goes to your mother.
Okay, that's a very interesting input. There's another one question. It's a very simple question. Is the will the will hold valid on all sorts of deaths like accident, suicide, and health issues?
Yeah. Will is valid. Will doesn't have a need to have a gestation period. There is no gestation period. Moment you pass away, will becomes valid.
Okay. There's another question which you have already addressed, but for maybe the person logged in late. Can I make a settlement to one of my major children during my lifetime in a stamp paper?
Yeah. You can make that settlement is a will. What you call settlement, I call it will. So if you want to do it, the asset transfer during your lifetime, while to a major children, now it is a gift and no law of will is applicable. So if you mean that I would like to transfer a certain asset to my major child while I'm alive, yes, you can gift it to the major child. Right? But remember, you are losing control over your assets while you are alive.
Okay. Can a part of our wealth be transferred to people who are not our legal head, like non-family members?
You can will anything to anybody if it is a self-earned asset or a self-acquired asset. Nobody stops you from willing. There is only one act which says, which is the Indian Maintenance Act, which says that if somebody is dependent on you, you cannot leave them without money. But it is not very clear how much money you should leave for that person. So even if you give them minor part of wealth of a person who is dependent and give major to a person who is not dependent, who is a stranger, the law cannot do anything about it.
Okay. Another interesting question. What is the difference between settlement deed and will?
Settlement deed, see, settlement deed, if you are calling it settlement deed, for me it means family agreement. And it is done during your lifetime. So if you create a family agreement among all the family members and put it on stamp paper while you are alive, then you are basically transferring assets to these people as per the agreement in that document, and it is not a will. Anything which takes place after your death can be controlled in a will. Pre-death cannot be a will. And this family settlement requires stamp duty to be paid. Will does not require stamp duty to be paid. Right? In most states in India, family agreement would require stamp duty to be paid. They consider it transfer of a property title from one person to another person.
Yes, and in Tamil Nadu, it's a flat and it's not very costly.
Yeah.
And it's another extreme event question, but I think it can be very revealing for a lot of people. What will happen, in case both me and my spouse die, and my testamentary guardian also dies, and my daughter is minor? What happens?
So usually in the testamentary guardianship letter, we appoint two people, first choice and second choice. And one of the guardians we would ask you to have a person who is younger and healthier than you, right? So that this chance of there being no guardian is very less. But even after that, there is a case of no guardian, then the courts have the power to appoint a guardian. Okay. So then that certified guardian comes into picture.
Okay. Can we make a will for our ancestral property?
Yes, you can make a will for your ancestral property, but that will is limited to your share in the ancestral property. Right? And ancestral property division after 1956 has become a very debatable thing. Any property which is undivided since 1956 is only ancestral property. If there is a division and the divided shares are known, it is no longer ancestral property. So virtually very less property in India is now ancestral. So many people think that if I inherit any property from my grandfather or father without a will or from a will, it becomes ancestral. No, sir. After 1956, it's not ancestral. It is now your personal property and you can do anything with it. Right? It's only ancestral if it is since 1956, it is undivided and is being passed as an undivided share from generation to generation. But there also you can give away your undivided share to anybody you want.
Next is another revealing question. Can any one of the beneficiaries can also be a respondent of the probated will?
Yeah, beneficiaries can go, if the executor fails to take it to for probate, beneficiary can take it. Nothing, law doesn't prevent a beneficiary to take it to a probate.
Okay. So there's another question on the probate. If a registered will is probated in court, then the original registered will be taken by the court. So the court's probated copy is enough as a parental document for the properties mentioned in the will.
Yeah, court issues something which is called a letter of administration. That's the document which executes. Will is something which they will keep for their records, but the document which they will issue after that is that probate letter, which you also call letter of administration. That gives the power for the executor to transfer assets.
Okay. Then once again, there's a little bit of reclarification required on whatever you have said already. Can you please repeat? I want to know more about the living will.
So living will is a document which recently Supreme Court allowed as late as March 2019, where they said that right to die with dignity is a fundamental right of every Indian. And they said that you can execute a document which is called a living will or an advanced healthcare power of attorney while you are alive. The way to execute this document is not simple, it's a tedious process because it has to be executed with two independent witnesses in front of a first class magistrate. And this first class magistrate has to countersign it. Right? So the document execution is difficult and implementation of the document is also difficult because once that situation is arises, there are medical boards being set up by the hospital and the district magistrate, and on the recommendation of those two medical board, the life support is withdrawn. So these things are taken because misuse of such a document might not take place. To prevent misuse, they made but it's a very good document to have.
Okay, so then there is another question. How is an e-will different from a normal will? Can it be done online like this?
There is nothing called e-will in India. Yeah, will has to be a physical copy countersigned by two witnesses. What they call e-will is a computer or the internet generated will. Ultimately, it has to be signed by two people on a piece of paper. Right? There is nothing called e-will. We don't have anything called WhatsApp will or any email will. Those are not valid in India.
So should Mr. Deepak, should we say instead of e-will, it is EVIL evil?
It's a evil will.
It's a evil. Okay. What happens to the undivided share of her husband and a childless widow after her death?
The undivided share in the name of whom?
Husband.
So after the death of the husband and a childless widow?
Yes.
So if the husband mother is alive, then it would be shared between the husband's mother and the widow. Right? If that person is a Hindu male.
Okay.
Right? If he's not a Hindu male, then other laws are applicable. If mother is not alive, it goes to the widow. The only thing is if that widow remarries before getting the money, then it might go to the other legal heirs because she is no longer a widow.
Okay. Is the pension scheme nominee here for pension?
So even in pensions, nominee is not the owner. Your EPF and other instruments, nominee is not the owner. The ownership is decided as per the legal heir or the will. Right? So if you have pensions which are coming, if you have gratuity which is coming, you have other benefits you are coming, make a will for those assets. That would take care of it.
Okay. So what if it's a hypothetical question, but I think there are some people who have this challenge. What if the person converted to another religion? So after death, which religion will come into effect? By the religion at the time of birth or converted religion?
No. Converted would take place. That would decide if the conversion is legally valid. If the conversion is legally valid, the new religion would decide how the property is distributed. And in case the courts are not able to decide whether this conversion is okay or not, they might say Indian Succession Act would be applicable. because there are two acts, your personal act and an Indian Succession Act. So all of us are governed by Indian Succession Act if our religion is taken away from us.
Okay, fine. So, and then the next one is a fairly simple question. I have obtained a policy, but I did not know this nominee rule at the point of time. Can I supplement it by a will?
So sir, first thing you have to make the person whom you want this asset to go post your death as the nominee. Because nomination can be changed any number of times. And it can be in percentages also. Right? And once you do that, back it up with a will, saying that I have made these percentages nominee. These people would be in that same percentage would inherit my wealth post my death. So there is a consonance between your nomination and will. That's the best way to do it.
So we'll just take two more questions. We're almost, I know you have been speaking non-stop from 6 o'clock. You just had a sip of water in between. Okay, anyway, this can a brother or sister from the same family of one individual claim share of one's assets?
Brother and sister? So
Yes.
brother and sister
brother or sister from same
okay,
family.
no problem. They are same in front of law. They are siblings and they are class 2 legal heir. Now, if none of your legal heirs, as I asked you to write down, are alive, then it goes to your father. And if your father is also not alive, then it goes to your brothers and sisters equally.
Okay. Next, maybe we can just have it as the last question. A settlement and a gift to family member. One and the same from stamp duty perspective is a settlement and a gift to family.
It varies from state to state. I don't know what's the law in Chennai and how is it work. Does it work your place? But those are two different things altogether. Settlement is when other family member give a consent and you bring about an agreement. Gift is the owner without any consideration gives it to somebody. Right.
Okay. So, Mr. Deepak Jain, because you mentioned that I don't know what is the law in Chennai, I want to tell you that there are people who are viewing it from Melbourne to San Francisco.
Okay.
So we have the entire spectrum of the Indian diaspora who have been very kind enough to come and see your session. It has been an extremely fruitful and knowledgeable session, Mr. Deepak. A lot of messages are coming to me on my personal WhatsApp and also in the chat. I don't think anyone could have summarized these such valuable learnings in the way you have done. It really shows your depth of knowledge and more importantly, the willingness to share it with everyone. I think all of us are extremely grateful for having taken out this time. And as I told earlier, Purple Pond has formally launched our estate planning services today. And Independence Day has been specifically chosen because true financial freedom is not just in creating your wealth or protecting your wealth, but being able to seamlessly transfer your wealth to the next generation or the set of people for whom this wealth has been created. So in our opinion, financial freedom should start today when it's also the 74th Independence Day for India. We have been subjugated to the British rule for quite some time. We still follow their law, but I think we can use the same law to gain financial independence and provide that independence to all our children and loved ones. Because as Mr. Deepak summarized, it's not about the money. It's not the color of the money, but it's always about the relationships. Because all the wealth that we create, that we as financial planners and advisors advise you to create, it's not the question of money, it's the question of your love and your loved ones. Thank you so much, Mr. Deepak, and thanks all the participants who took the effort to be part of this session on a weekend, a long weekend. And I know it's COVID times and we have been at home for long time, but just taking out the time and being part of us honors us. And thank you so much. We hope that it has been productive to you. Thank you so much. Happy weekend. Good day to you.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, everyone.